We have done DORV VSD and DORV VSD PS also.
No, sir. DORV VSD correct.
Described hemodynamics he has described. Now he is coming to the clinical features.
Okay.
Clinical features and presentations.
Okay.
So one
Just
thing
one-
which I think, hello,
Yes.
which we have not discussed. One thing, how do you define DORV? So you have one thing you have said that there is one is overriding of aorta is more, which is second
Yeah.
morphological criteria which has to be fulfilled.
The Perloff basically says that the greater part that both the arterial valve is supported with morphological right ventricular arch with distinct chambers and concordant atrioventricular connections.
So basically, aortomitral
Aortomitral
continuity should not be it's affected in DORV. Okay.
Yeah.
So there are multiple definitions.
Pulmonary mitral continuity.
हाँ.
TGA type.
So as Romila and Dr. Mohita said, no, the one is of course the override, which is now considered more consistent. The other option, is anatomical. That is, there should be a bilateral conus leading to discontinuity between aortopulmonary and aortomitral discontinuity. So these are the two definitions. Degree of override: some say 50%, some say 60%,
More than
some
50%.
say some say more than 50%. So that may vary.
Okay, sir.
There's a very beautiful diagram in modern anatomy explaining that all the
Conal developmental theory.
control it in the exam.
Okay.
It is very important for understanding why what damage.
So a patient with DORV with subaortic VSD, which is a VSD type, patient occasionally reach the young adulthood. The cyanosis is transient due to the high PVR. Overdevelopment and catabolic state. And rise in PVR leads to diversion of blood leading to the pulse associated with VSD type
Zero.
and JVP is elevated because waves like A, C, and V waves are elevated. This is due to the increase in the pulmonary blood flow. On palpation, we have an RV impulse. We have a palpable valve and a thrill at the third and the fourth intercostal space at the left pulmonary. Facilitate the spacing in such kind of a patient. We have low PVR. In cases of low PVR, if the patient has low PVR, it results in holosystolic murmur of VSD that is maximum in the third and the fourth intercostal space at the left pulmonary. P2 is loud because of dilated pulmonary trunk is anterior, and A2 is prominent because the aortic valves lies side by side and to the right of the pulmonary trunk rather than posterior. Inspiratory splitting is preserved as long as the pulmonary vascular resistance is less than the systemic, and increased flow across the mitral valve generates an apical mid-systolic nerve. हेलो
रोहित सर शायद दोबारा रिकनेक्ट करके देखो यार, आपकी आवाज अभी भी कट रही है काफी।
मैं एक बार लॉग आउट करके दोबारा लॉग इन करता हूं।
हाँ
आज हमारा पासवर्ड भी थोड़ा सा खतरनाक है ना।
The patient, and if the patient has a high PVR, it reduces the pulmonary blood flow on the left. So in ECG, the PR interval prolongation is common, and when it depends upon the ECG forces or the ECG changes basically depend upon the
So another
so when
important point in DORV we will find most commonly is lot of them, lot of the subsets of DORV would have a common scenario where PR interval is going to be prolonged. This is another finding is DORV and except for I think TGA because malposed vessels,
TG.
all of them are going to have a counterclockwise loop on ECG.
Yes. So the PR interval prolongation is peak right atrial P waves are associated with bifid left axial deviation along with counterclockwise depolarization is an important feature of DORV with a subaortic ventricular septal defect having no pulmonary stenosis and increased pulmonary blood flow. The QRS duration is normal. If there is right ventricular hypertrophy is obligatory and is manifested by a tall V wave, tall R wave in V1 and AVR with deep S wave in left three coordinates. Left ventricular volume overload is indicated by large RS complexes in mid precoordinates by tall R wave in the left precoordinates. So if you state an example, so these are the examples. So this is basically, if you state this example, this is an electrocardiogram, which basically shows that the PR interval is prolonged for around 200 milliseconds का PR interval है इसमें. Left axis deviation. There is a counterclockwise depolarization. There is deep S wave in lead V4, V5, V4 and V5. And biventricular hypertrophy is basically manifested by large RS complexes in the mid precoordinate, that is V3, V4, and V5. So this basically shows prolonged PR interval, and we have biventricular hypertrophy, and we have left axial deviation with counterclockwise depolarization. The next example of the ECG, this example of the ECG basically shows that there is a it shows peak P waves, This is the peak P waves. We have R complex prominent R wave in the V1. So it basically shows that there is, and also there is if you can see, there is a bifid P wave in V5 and V6. If everybody can see, there is a bifid P wave. So it basically right axis deviation is indicates right atrial enlargement and right hypertrophy is by R wave in V1 and along with R wave in V1 AVR. These are the common presentations with DORV with VSD depending upon the type of the pulmonary blood flow or depending upon the pulmonary vascular resistance and depending upon which ventricle is more overloaded with the blood. So this is the X-ray. These are the X-rays of the patient. So these are the X-rays of the patient. This X-ray basically shows there is increased pulmonary blood flow, which shows that there is
Come Arya, you continue. We'll discuss what. When the most important subset you are going to come is probably PS now. Then it will require.
Yes, sir. Yes. And this is the another X-ray which shows we have there is the pulmonary blood flow is normal and there is the descending pulmonary artery is basically dilated. The left ventricle is also dilated. So these are the common subsets of the presentation of in which how does, and it all also depends upon the type and the pressure, the volume of the pulmonary depends on the volume of the pulmonary blood flow. The aortic knuckle is basically prominent. So coming on to another subset of DORV, which is VSD with the आवाज आ रही है मेरी से?
हाँ अभी आ रही है.
Now the another subset is DORV with subaortic VSD with pulmonary stenosis, which is basically which resembles the TOF, which resembles the clinical features and the manifestations resemble of that of tetralogy of. More than 50% of patients with DORV and the subaortic have pulmonary stenosis. It resembles the tetralogy of Fallot. The pulmonary stenosis varies from mild to severe to atresia. Either the pulmonary stenosis can be mild, it can be severe pulmonary stenosis, or there can be pulmonary atresia, can be present at birth or delayed with progressive increase in severity. The patients are basically cyanotic and they squat as in patients of TOF. The DORV without PACE, if the DORV does not have pulmonary stenosis, it has a better life expectancy because the pulmonary blood flow is intact. So the JVP on examination, the A wave is not elevated and the entire blood is ejected into the aorta. The right ventricular impulse is analogous to gentle impulse of the normal neonate heart and is assigned to the fourth and fifth intercostal spaces. Subxiphoid area because the stenosis is subpulmonary. Thrill is the left ventricular impulse is not palpable and in cyanotic patients because the pulmonary blood flow is reduced, so the ventricular is constant. Acyanotic patients with mild pulmonary stenosis have a hollow systolic murmur of the VSD at the left sternal border and a mid-systolic murmur of pulmonary stenosis in the second and third intercostal spaces. E2 is delayed. A apical third heart sound introduces the mid-diastolic murmur across the mitral valve because there is increase in the flow of the mitral valve across the mitral valve. So this is basically the form. This is basically this murmur is basically an hollow systolic murmur which is maximum heard in the second intercostal space. Then the third is the systolic murmur. The systolic murmur and it has a systolic murmur and also it has an entry because of the increased flow across the mitral valve. This MDM is mainly because of the increase in the flow across the mitral valve. And the third subset is basically shows that the systolic murmur this systolic murmur is present in the fourth intercostal space and mainly present in the RV outflow, that is ejection of the blood is happening to the RV outflow. And this is basically and again it is again a decrescendo murmur because it is peaking here and it finally decreases, the intensity of the murmur decreases nearing the A2. And A2 is present before as compared to P2. So P2 here is delayed here also and it is also delayed here. Sir, any other additional information? Hello?
The findings are similar. Is there any difference between classical tetralogy and DORV VSD PS on examination?
Classical of
Whatever you have presented, what in examination, how are you going to tell whether you are dealing with a tetralogy or you are dealing with DORV VSD PS?
So a third heart sound, presence of a third heart sound.
इससे कैसे फर्क पड़ेगा?
Hello.
वो तो जब भी ब्लड फ्लो इंक्रीज होगा किसी में भी आ जाएगा. So what on examination would be suggestive? So you are presenting a case of tetralogy. Your second differential diagnosis will be DORV VSD PS. So examination में ऐसा क्या होगा which will suggest that probably it could be a DORV. Sorry. Anybody? हाँ. Examination में कैसे क्या findings होंगी which will favor DORV. So essentially, all the findings will be same as tetralogy,
Yeah.
but
So, hello.
yeah,
Yeah. So number one, patient will be more blue compared to TOF and DORB. So cyanosis will be
And
deep
it won't
as
get
compared to
but
TOF. Second is coming to the murmur. So usually because of overriding, we will get a murmur even down till fourth left intercostal space, which is usually not present in TOF. The ejection systolic murmur of TOF usually is in left intercostal space only.
so cyanosis, no, because cyanosis in tetralogy physiology it will be almost same as in both DORB and tetralogy. Streaming becomes important when it is subpulmonary VSD. Otherwise, the tetralogy saturation would almost be the same. Yes, but murmur will be much more lower down. It will be much more lower down, maybe in the third and fourth intercostal space, which can suggest the possibility of DORB. The important will become in the ECG. ECG will give you more clues.
so when the pulmonary atresia is present, the aortic ejection sound is present, and a soft mid-systolic murmur is due to the into the dilated aorta, and we have a loud A2. The left ventricular fourth heart sound can be heard because the left ventricular hypertrophy of the subaortic stenosis is associated with an increased force of left atrial contraction. Audibility of the fourth heart sound is enhanced by prolongation of the PR interval. Diastolic murmur of AR is occasionally present in DORB with pulmonary stenosis as in tetralogy of Fallot. On to the ECG. Now, the right
Why should there be
ventricle.
a LVS4? ये नहीं समझ में आया?
Sorry.
LVS4 क्यों होगा इसमें? DORB VSD में?
Because of left ventricular hypertrophy या volume overload की वजह से
नहीं दोनों में डिफरेंस है. वॉल्यूम ओवरलोड और हाइपरट्रोफी में फर्क है. So what he is trying to tell you, DORB is actually a very very big subset. So there will be a subset where it will be a DORB with mild PS with increased flow that is going to lead to the presence of S3. There will be a left ventricular
hypertrophy.
There will be a subset where the VSD may be DORB, where VSD can be borderline or restrictive. For the degree of flow, at times what happens, the VSD is generally large in DORB, but at times the DORB is borderline. So this borderline DORB can lead to left ventricular hypertrophy, and that can lead to S4.
Okay, sir.
So the importance of this DORB subset is actually in exam one of the differential diagnosis. VSD में one of the differential diagnosis would be post-tricuspid shunt में VSD में DORB would be DORB subaortic VSD would be differential diagnosis. In case of tetralogy physiology, TOF के बाद second differential diagnosis आपको DORB VSD बोलना पड़ेगा और उसमें आपको differences पता होने चाहिए. That is important. Differences examination we have discussed. PS होगा तो much lower down होएगा. ECG में it will be more important.
I think sir जो S4 इसमें लिखा हुआ है ना परलोफ में, it is of a very very rare subvariety where there is
Subaortic stenosis,
which is very uncommon.
Yeah, so S4 यानी LV hypertrophy is rare because of the sense कि VSD हमेशा large होता है.
Yes sir.
पर कई subsets of DORB में which is very rare, अगर VSD restrict हो जाएगा तो you can understand कि दोनों outflows restrict हो गए. So when the VSD becomes restrictive VSD का मतलब ये नहीं है कि वो बहुत छोटा होगा. All the systemic outflow has to go through the VSD. तो अगर VSD aorta के size से छोटा हो जाएगा तो it will be restrictive to the flow. That will lead to hypertrophy of the left ventricle, and this can lead to S4. So to say that मुझे S4 मिल रहा है इसलिए DORB है is not absolutely right.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay, coming on to the ECG of this
most important ECG is very important.
Yes,
क्योंकि that will be the major differential diagnosis.
Differentiating features. So in the ECG, now since right ventricle is a systemic ventricle, we have a peaked right atrial P waves, which occur even with mild pulmonary stenosis and may be accompanied by left atrial P waves because the pulmonary blood flow is increased. If we have a severe pulmonary stenosis, the P waves are either normal or peaked and of low amplitude. When the pulmonary stenosis is mild, the ECG
So the
retains
P
the
waves
left
have
axis.
actually got no relevance. It just depends
No
on the
relevance.
pulmonary blood flow. It will be true for any particular case. PSD,
Yes.
mild PS और जब भी LA का
Severe PS
flow
हो-
बढ़ जाएगा तो LA बड़ा हो जाएगा. जब mild PS होगा तो
Yes,
किसी
sir.
में भी true है. But most important
Yes,
is
sir.
when you come
QRS.
to PR interval and the QRS. Okay, come
Yes,
to the
sir.
PR interval. PR interval prolongation is important, no? That is a pointer
Yes, sir.
towards.
So when the pulmonary stenosis is mild, the ECG retains left axial deviation and counterclockwise depolarization that occur in the absence of pulmonary stenosis. As the stenosis increases, the QRS becomes vertical and rightward. It is here that distinctive ablated stubble features arouse suspicion of DORV with pulmonary stenosis. So if we have a QRS duration which is towards the right, it will raise the suspicion of DORV with pulmonary stenosis in patients with DORV with PSDPs. So the distinctive feature is persistence of clockwise initial forces that generate Q wave in lead one, and the axis is vertical and right. Are deep and prolonged with a tendency of broad slurred S wave in lead 1, AVL and V5, and a broad AVR in AVR. So this is basically the examples of various subsets. There would be differentiating features. In this ECG, this is a subaortic ventricular septal defect. So here the PR interval is around 200. That is, PR interval is prolonged. You can see a peaked P wave. This is a peaked P wave, broad left atrial P wave in V1. And if you see, we have a broad atrial P wave in V1. Terminal forces are prolonged along with slurring of S wave. These are your slurred S wave. These are your slurring of S waves. These are all slurring of S wave. Also in the recording leads, also as well in the leads with AVR. The left axial deviation is basically counterclockwise, which is a counterclockwise left axial deviation, and right ventricular hypertrophy is manifested by R1, R wave in V1, along with that deep S wave in lead V4, V5, V4 and V5. So this is one ECG with subaortic pulmonary with DORV with subaortic VSD, and then this is the another ECG which shows that they have that there is subaortic ventricular septal defect with subpulmonary stenosis. So the difference is that they have peak P waves in again lead 2 and V1. We have peak P wave in lead 2 and V1. We have a deep S wave in V2 and V3. The PR interval is prolonged, which is of 190 milliseconds, and Q waves basically appear in lead V1. We have Q wave, here is Q wave in lead 1 and in AVL. Whereas if we compare with this ECG, there is no Q waves, there are no Q waves in lead 1 and AVL. And the right axial deviation is counterclockwise, and there is right ventricular hypertrophy as there is tall RVs in V1 and AVR. So the only difference between the two, sir, इसमें difference फिर इसमें यही हुआ कि PR interval तो दोनों में prolonged है और QRS duration और P waves का इतना relevance नहीं है, but QRS duration जो है वो एक में left axis है और एक में right axis.
I think Parlov is trying to confuse us for all practical purposes.
Yeah.
Cut off physiology hai, then you have to remember only three things for DORV. One, the axis would be rightward. It would be somewhere more than 150 degree. Second, there will be a counterclockwise looping characterized by Q in 1 AVL and RS in 2-3 AVL. And third is there would be a PR interval which will be on a fuller side or maybe prolonged.
The PR interval is anyways prolonged in both the things.
But इन्होंने first ECG maybe
first or second ECG first और second ECG practical importance नहीं है जो इन्होंने दिया है. इन्होंने इंक्रीज फ्लो और डिक्रीज फ्लो को कंपेयर किया हुआ
डिक्रीज फ्लो
वाला
So
माइल्ड
that is actually of no relevance in clinical subsets. No, increase decrease flow. तो आप clinically you have increased flow will behave like a VSD.
Yeah.
Decreased flow will behave like a tetralogy. आप जब
Yes, sir.
प्रैक्टिकली आपको क्वेश्चन आएगा मतलब प्रैक्टिकल रेलेवेंस भी यही होगी कि आप सोचोगे कि भाई टेट्रोलॉजी फिजियोलॉजी में मैं DORV को कैसे डायग्नोज करूंगा, VSD में मैं DORV को कैसे डायग्नोज करूंगा, उसके लिए है। अब सपोज VSD सबसेट में आपको DORV का डायग्नोसिस करना है, there is a case with increased pulmonary blood flow and what are the features which will tell you कि ये DORV हो सकता है, your first subset of patients, tell me। एक आप increased flow situation maybe a 3-year-old girl, 4-year-old girl, increased flow, चलो उसका flow ज़्यादा है, has not gone into maybe isomerization, that discussion is different, we have done it। we have kept a differential diagnosis of first is post tricuspid shunt, increased pulmonary blood flow, and our closest differential diagnosis would always be second हमेशा diagnosis DORV होगा, DORV VSD। तो कैसे बताओगे कि ये VSD है कि DORV VSD है?
Sir, counterclockwise looping and fuller PR interval, that's it.
On ECG examination में would there be a feature which will tell you कि भाई ये DORV वाला सबसेट है?
Sir, again we'll get pulsations in parasternal area usually, which we don't get in a normal VSD.
Yeah, in VSD का मरमर तो हमेशा much more lower down ही होगा, third fourth से sorry
fourth intercostal space में
Lumila said something। What happens, the second heart sound you are going to get the only differential feature which can, if you can really appreciate, is the aortic component has a very loud sound।
Yeah.
तो जब भी सेकंड हार्ट साउंड सुनोगे, क्योंकि एओर्टा ऑलमोस्ट एंटीरियर आ जाता है ना, so
Yes, sir.
Yes,
that
sir.
is the only differential। now if you are going to hear a prominent aortic sound, यानी सेकंड हार्ट साउंड A2 P2 की जगह दोनों A2 और P2 कंपोनेंट्स ऑलमोस्ट सिग्निफिकेंटली अच्छे से दिखाई देंगे। फॉर ऑल प्रैक्टिकल पर्पस इंक्रीज फ्लो सिचुएशंस एग्जाम में बहुत रेयर मिलेगा, क्योंकि इट विल बी स्मॉलर बेबीज।
नहीं मिलेगा sir।
if you get it, they will be almost isomerized, फिर operability पे वाइवा चला जाएगा। तो the most important exam point of view which you will definitely get is a PS physiology examination में। PS physiology में क्या हो जाएगा, tetralogy से differential करने के लिए as you have discussed, murmur will be much lower down and ECG would be the most important। those three features, PR interval prolonged, QRS which is more vertical and rightward, and a counterclockwise loop। counterclockwise loop मतलब Q waves in one end AVL and presence of lateral leads में क्या होगा,
Q wave in 1 AVL and
Sir,
RS in 2-3 AVL.
RS pattern in
RS and
in the chest leads।
chest leads।
okay, बस ये these are the differential marks, बाकी और कोई differentiation नहीं है।
सर और ये वाला ECG जो है that is basically with pulmonary atresia, which is DORV with VSD with pulmonary atresia का example दिया है इन्होंने। इसमें मतलब they have showed that they have a T wave in lead 1 and lead 2, we have a right axial deviation, there is basically Q wave in V1, along with that there is right atrial enlargement, along with that there
practically
is
this ECG you can jump, there is of no relevance, it will be a VSD of any pulmonary atresia will have this।
Right, sir. So the X-ray would basically be that the X-ray in patients with
so there is no specific X-ray for a DORV
VSD. Yes.
So if you have to differentiate between TOF and DORV, X-ray is not going to give you the answer.
No, it's not going to give us an
answer. Would
yes.
come only when ECG.
ECG, yes. Yes. And when the now in this X-ray, basically we have that this is basically an X-ray of a DORV with ventricular septal defect. The pulmonary trunk is basically...
ये भी मुझे तो समझ pulmonary, hello
हाँ बोलो।
जो पल्मोनरी एट्रेसिया की दिखाई है ये भी बहुत ज्यादा राइटवर्ड एक्सिस है, इसमें कोई काउंटर क्लॉकवाइज लूपिंग नहीं है। आई थिंक सर ये ईसीजी ठीक नहीं है।
इसलिए I said this ECG is true for any pulmonary atresia. This may not represent DORV, so you can jump this ECG. Pulmonary atresia में ना there is a different subset. DORV pulmonary atresia versus pulmonary atresia differences are not, well, practically there is no difference. So the counterclockwise loop may not be present in the pulmonary atresia group. Since you have raised it, but it may confuse you. That is why I don't want to go into this.
But usually in a pulmonary atresia subgroup, the RV forces are not that high. So axis is also not that rightward. Usually normal axis.
वापस चले जाओ pulmonary atresia
इसमें तो एकदम extreme right axis deviation.
It depends ना।
ये देखो ना पूरा का
DORV में
पूरा
अगर
one
गुड
or
वेंट्रिकल है RV पल्मोनरी एट्रेसिया इंटैक्ट सेप्टम में तो हाइपोप्लास्टिक RV होगा। उन केसेस में तेरी बात ठीक है, लेकिन इन दीस केसेस RV वुड बी गुड साइज ना, तो उसमें तेरे को मिल सकता है।
Whenever it is VSD pulmonary atresia, it will be actually a significant RV hypertrophy and rightward deviation which will be there. If at all clues होंगे तो वही 3 clues रहेंगे: PR interval prolongation, counterclockwise and extreme right axis deviation. इसमें क्या point आ रहा है? Right axis deviation आ रहा है. So otherwise there will be no difference.
वो इंटैक्ट सेप्टम वालों में होता है मोहित, जिनमें RV छोटा होता है।
Okay.
So basically, so coming on to the X-ray usually does not give us much importance in differentiating between your RV with So if this stenosis is mild, the pulmonary vascularity will increase and the left ventricle will basically undergo dilatation. And when the pulmonary stenosis is severe, the vascularity will basically decrease and it will ultimately lead to increase in the apex is basically convex. So overall, by and large, the X-ray doesn't show us a big importance or does not help us in differentiating between DORV and VSD, between TOF and DORV and VSD. So the third anomaly, or the third type of DORV we have is this. Now this resembles with TGs and it has a non-restrictive VSD. Have congenital malformations with of the aortic arch, which includes coarctation, isthmus hypoplasia, interruption, and PDA. Cyanosis in these kind of patients present since birth or in early infancy because the flow is from the right ventricle to the aorta is obligatory. As the neonatal PVR falls, the left ventricular pressure enters the pulmonary trunk across the subpulmonary ventricular septum. Systemic arterial oxygen saturation is relatively high, but there is an increased pulmonary blood flow. Left ventricular volume undergoes overload, which leads to congestive heart failure. Okay, the clinical course is poor. If there is coarctation of aorta is present, the clinical course is considered to be poor as it elevates the systemic systolic pressure, which augments already abundant pulmonary blood supply, diverting still more right ventricular blood into the pulmonary trunk. Occasionally, these patients reaches the second, third, and the fourth decade of the life. So, if patients who have increased pulmonary blood flow, they have more of chances of developing congestive heart failure, leading to poor growth and development. Moderate elevation in PVR basically decreases the pulmonary blood flow and leads to congestive heart failure is relieved, and the growth and development is improved. Suprasystemic pulmonary vascular resistance results in reverse differential cyanosis. This is important that it helps in reverse differential diagnosis, a distinctive physical appearance that is manifest because the ductal flow is from the right. It's like a PDA, and the flow of the blood is more towards like the flow of the blood is from right to left, giving a differential cyanosis. The toes are less cyanotic and less blood than the fingers because the oxygenated blood from the left ventricle flows through the subpulmonary ventricular septal defect into the pulmonary trunk and through the PDA into the descending aorta, whereas the unoxygenated blood flows from the right ventricle into the aorta and to the upper extremity. So, on examination, the pulse, the upper and the lower extremity of the arterial pulses are the JAP unless and until there is biventricular. The right ventricular impulses becomes more conspicuous in the presence of can be palpable in the second left intercostal space. Volume overload of the left ventricle is responsible for the left ventricular impulse. Thrill is present in the second intercostal space because of the ventricular septal defect is subpulmonary, and pulmonary vascular resistance rises, the pulmonary blood flow falls, left ventricular volume overload decreases, and the left ventricular impulse may disappear. The right ventricular impulse decreases and the ventricular septal defect thrill vanishes. So basic points is that the RV right ventricular impulse are more in cases of biventricular failure. Second is the dilated P2 is loud because of the dilated pulmonary trunk and increase in the pulmonary flow, which is palpable. P2 is loud and palpable. Thrill is present because of the there is increase in the flow of blood and the because ventricular septal defect is subpulmonary. Vascular resistance rises, the flow goes down, the left ventricular volume overload decreases, left ventricular impulse disappear, and the right ventricular impulse decreases, and the ventricular septal defect thrill also vanishes. Coming on to the auscultation, the auscultatory findings of these patients. Now, the systolic murmurs that originate from the VSD can be located as high as in the second intercostal space because the left ventricle is directed. The pulmonary component of P2 is loud and the splitting is preserved when the pulmonary resistance is lower than systemic. Then we have an apical mid-diastolic murmur signifies increase in the pulmonary blood flow across the mitral valve, and as the pulmonary resistance rises, the pulmonary blood flow and the left ventricular volume overload decline. The murmur through the subpulmonary ventricular septal defect is estimated. The pulmonary ejection sound, which is basically a short mid-systolic murmur and a Gram-Stein murmur, originates in the dilated hypertensive pulmonary trunk. That is, if the amount of the increase of blood in the pulmonary trunk leads to a production of a sound called as a pulmonary ejection sound. The second heart sound is loud and single because of the synchronous closure of the aortic and the pulmonary. Sir, anything you would like to add in this?
This is a DORV with subpulmonary VSD. Is
Taussig-Bing anomaly.
We called it Taussig-Bing anomaly. That means all the features will be like a TGA. It is actually a TGA. VSD जो है वो pulmonary artery के नीचे है, तो VSD का सारा flow is going to the pulmonary artery, so it will behave like a TGA. TGA. क्योंकि aorta में blood कम जा रहा है, इसलिए सबसे commonest association of Taussig-Bing anomaly का होता है coarctation. Exam point of view से, if you are getting a Taussig-Bing anomaly in exam, most likely जब तक वो एग्जाम के लिए पहुंचेगा it will be Eisenmengerized, so it will behave like an Eisenmenger. यानी आप कोई भी Eisenmenger का केस प्रेजेंट कर रहे हो, large VSD, banging second heart sound, very low ejection murmur, उसमें how will you say that this can be a DORV subset? That becomes important. Other way, practically अगर real life में अगर आप जब भी TJ का केस देखते हो और आपको DORV मिलता है, it is very important to look at the arch, क्योंकि invariably coarctation इसके साथ absolute होता है. In fact, Garson तो यहाँ तक बोलती है कि one of the way to call a DORV as Taussig-Bing, there should be a presence of coarctation. So coarctation is a very very important findings which can get missed. TJ में coarctation इतना common नहीं है जितना DORV subset है. DORV. तो exam में अगर case present कर रहे हो तो it will be, features will be almost the same as Eisenmenger. So how will you say that you are presenting a case whether it is Eisenmenger के features है सारे, it is a Taussig-Bing anomaly. Now you submit.
Sir, तो presence of coarctation.
There will be a parasternal heave.
Parasternal heave. Loud P2 sir होगा.
Parasternal heave होगी कि नहीं होगी?
होगी sir. So parasternal heave हो. Hello.
Hello. So anybody?
Sir,
everybody has a, this will be a differential diagnosis of Eisenmenger with la VSD. But the main differential diagnosis, सारी features VSD वाले होंगे. But the main differential would be the presence of डिफरेंशियल साइनोसिस, मेन डिफरेंशियल होगा क्योंकि अगर टॉसिक बिंग है तो टीजे की तरह लोअर लिम्ब परफ्यूज होगा ना पीडीए से, so there will be
Yes, sir.
fluid discoloration of the lower limb, so
Lower
the catch would come in the presence of
differential
differential
diagnosis.
cyanosis. अगर
Differential.
आपको differential cyanosis मिलता है किसी केस में, so the possibilities are late
DORB,
presenter
VSD with
TGA or late presenter TJ-VSD or
DORB.
late presenter DORB-VSD. Otherwise, there will be no differential.
ठीक है.
And early onset of cyanosis.
Yeah, the history में आपको कैसे पता चलेगा? History में when you are taking the history,
Early
these are the earliest to present with cyanosis.
cyanosis at birth. Cyanosis at birth.
Yeah, one of the causes is, and because of the screening, the cyanosis is going to manifest at birth. Cyanosis which is out of proportion to degree. Antegrade murmur बहुत अच्छी मिल रही है, लेकिन patient blue मिल रहा है. So, what is the differential diagnosis? TGA and Taussig Bing.
ठीक है.
तो यही क्वेश्चन होगा कोई भाई साइनोसिस इन प्रोपोर्शन, साइनोसिस आउट ऑफ प्रोपोर्शन. अर्लियर प्रेजेंटेशन, तो अर्लियर प्रेजेंटेशन टीजे टॉसिक बिंग, साइनोसिस आउट ऑफ प्रोपोर्शन टीजे टॉसिक बिंग, डिफरेंशियल साइनोसिस टीजे टॉसिक बिंग, आइसेनमेंगराइज लेशन फीचर्स और कुछ डिफरेंस नहीं.
ठीक है सर. So the ECG PR interval prolongation is less frequent. There is a bilateral P wave abnormality reflecting the combination of volume overload in the left atrium. Hello.
There will be no difference of TGA versus टॉसिक
No.
बिंग on ECG.
Yes sir.
तो
Yes, sir.
टू डिफरेंट पिकअप यहाँ एक डिफरेंस आ जाता है. जैसे हम टॉसिक बिंग में हर जगह बोल रहे थे कि काउंटर क्लॉकवाइज लूप है, काउंटर क्लॉकवाइज लूप है. यहाँ पे काउंटर
इसमें नहीं
क्लॉकवाइज
है, sir.
लूपिंग नहीं मिलेगा.
नहीं मिलेगी. Yes.
PR interval prolongation and counter clockwise loop नहीं मिलेगा क्योंकि obviously
नहीं मिलेगी.
aorta anterior आ गया है and that is why the loop changes. So you will not get it in this particular case. So there will be no difference between TG and Taussig Bing on ECG.
Right. ये सारे टॉसिंग बिंग एनोमली के ही वही हैं रेफरेंसेस हैं.
अगर कुछ अगर आप एक्स्ट्रा पिक कर सकते हो तो एक्सट्रीम राइटवर्ड एक्सिस डेविएशन होगा. हमने कहा था ना टॉसिक किसी भी DORB में there will be 3 features: PR interval prolongation, extreme rightward axis deviation, counter clockwise loop. इसमें जो फीचर मिलेगा वो एक्सट्रीम राइटवर्ड एक्सिस डेविएशन होगा.
ठीक है सर. एक्सरे में भी कोई ऐसे इंपॉर्टेंट features would be similar to that of the TGA, because increased pulmonary blood flow will lead to basically dilated aorta. साथ में यहाँ पर right atrial dilatation ठीक होगा कि अगर pulmonary blood flow हमारा बढ़ा हुआ है तो उसमें features of congestive heart failure होंगे.
I think X-ray we can go ahead.
Sir,
thymic shadow के बारे में.
The thymic shadow, no?
हाँ, except
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is important of thymic shadow?
it's not in this it is present, but in CCTG it is not. मतलब TGA it is not present.
That is a very good point. Okay. As Romila is saying, the presence of thymic shadow would favor
thymic shadow.
A diagnosis of Taussig. Okay. Next चलते हैं.
Sir, on echocardiography, it is the primary imaging technique to confirm the diagnosis.
I think echo we can jump. The most important is whenever you're getting a TGA like feature, always rule out coarctation. Okay, we'll go to the next slide.
The cardiac catheterization, it is done in very late presenter with pulmonary hypertension. ETA and MRI is associated with
Romila, what is
coarctation of
the
aorta.
problem by doing a cardiac catheterization with a TGA or a Taussig Bing? You will get a high PVRI or low PVRI. PVRI में कैसे कैलकुलेट करते हो? QP के लिए
here the oxygenation of the pulmonary artery would always be more, क्योंकि pulmonary artery में तो
TGA type.
systemic का blood आ रहा है. So falsely your pulmonary artery saturation will be high even if the patient is having non-operable
low
group.
PVR.
So you will get a low PVRI in spite of patient being non-operable. So what will be the catch? How will you say अगर catch के लिए जाते हो, what parameters will decide whether this patient is operable for a TGA? Well, catch will not only decide, it will be additive. Be operable है कि नहीं, but what parameter will decide? It will be pressures. Low pulmonary artery diastolic pressures are very important to decide operability in the absence of pulmonary regurgitation. PR नहीं है और फिर भी pulmonary artery pressures diastolic low है तो operable है, वरना it is non-operable. Okay. We will go to the next slide.
Yes, sir. Sir, and the treatment, this is basically the guidelines from the Indian Annals of the IEP, the indication and timing for the surgery. So the surgery is the only definitive treatment that is done for DURV or in those who have irreversible pulmonary vascular disease. So prostaglandin infusion should be started in neonates presenting with timing, and the surgery depends upon the type of DORV variant. If the DORV is subaortic plus PS, which is of DORV top type DORV, the presenting with significant cyanosis less than 3 to 4 months, we need an aortopulmonary shunt. If they are more than 3 to 4 months, we need a total repair and closure of VSD and infundibular resection. Stable patients or with no minimal cyanosis, total repair with closure of VSD and infundibular resection by 6 to 5 months. So, and if the DORV is with the VSD type, and VSD has to be closed by the age of six months of age, and if it is beyond 6 months of age, we have to assess for operability and closure of VSD if operable. If it of TGA type variety DORV, it is that the arterial switch operation with VSD closure by 6 weeks of age, and if presenting beyond 3 months, it should be evaluated for operability. And if associated with aortic arch abnormality, arch repair should be done in the same setting when repairing the TG. And if the DORV is subpulmonary VSD along with PS, so if the pulmonary obstruction is localized, the subvalvular fibrous membrane or ridge ASO with resection of subvalvular stenosis. Valvular, one of the following complex surgeries is required, like Rastrelli repair or REV procedure or Niport procedure is done to translocate the root, leading to translocation of the transport. Hello? Yeah. And DORV with remote VSD or associated with other complex anatomy, one should strive to perform biventricular repair by intraventricular baffling of left ventricular connections to the aorta. Univentricular palliation is done in cases where the biventricular repair is not possible. Thank you. So this is very important. It will depend upon the indications of the surgery. It defines the indication of the surgery.
Hello.
Yes, sir.